The UK's former Chancellor attacks Johnson's COVID response, Facebook bans Myanmar's military leaders, school mask wearing, and TLDR versus Dutch news. This time, it's personal. This is your TLDR News Daily Briefing for Thursday the 25th of February. In the first story of the Daily Briefing today, we stay in the UK to discuss some comments about coronavirus spending from the former Chancellor Philip Hammond. While Hammond has been no fan of the Conservatives' new government, he has today made some pretty bold statements about their ability to do the right thing in relation to coronavirus spending. Specifically, he's said that the government needs to inform the public of the home truths about the situation we're in, claiming that the pandemic has been the fiscal equivalent of fighting a war. He wasn't particularly optimistic about the government's ability to do so though, claiming that the current government views short-term popularity as very, very important. He went on to claim that he's not sure the current government has the appetite for being unpopular in order to do the right thing. It should be reiterated here that Mr. Hammond has been a critic of the current government, and that his views are evidently reflective of this. In response, a Treasury spokesperson said that Chancellor Rishi Sunak will be honest with the British people. All of these comments come in the days leading up to next week's budget, where many will be watching to see whether the government stands by its policies that have generously been paying the wages of those unable to work due to COVID, or whether they'll be forced to begin financing such policies through tax increases. Only time will tell, but the former Chancellor doesn't seem hopeful. For the second story today, we move to Myanmar to discuss the latest in the ongoing coup. It's today been announced that the Myanmar military, who were behind the coup, have been banned from using Facebook and Instagram. The company has stated that we believe the risks of allowing the Myanmar army on Facebook and Instagram are too great, and added that any commercial entities linked with the government would also be banned from advertising on Facebook. Their justification for this move has been exceptionally severe human rights abuses, and the clear risk of future military-initiated violence in Myanmar. This move comes following social media companies taking more of an active role in banning political actors they deem to be using their services to the detriment of wider society. In fact, many companies banned former US President Donald Trump for using their services in the aftermath of the siege on the Capitol. We're not commenting on whether it's right or not for these social media companies to do so, simply that they did, and that this action against the Myanmar military is in line with such action, and the trend towards more political involvement. If you want more updates on Myanmar, and a general summary of what's going on around the world, then you should check out the Global Summary. That's our weekly rundown of the biggest news events in the world. You'll find it linked in the description and on the TLDR Global channel. For the third story of the Daily Briefing today, we move back to the UK to discuss mask wearing in school, but ultimately this is an issue that affects all countries. I don't know if you're like me, but my school was fairly strict on uniforms. If your tie was too short, they'd tell you to sort it out. No debate, just sort it out. Other schools have been even more harsh with this, with some reports claiming that one school sent over 150 children home for wearing shoes with too many laces. Another school was in the papers for sending 50 children home for wearing trainers, short skirts, and tight trousers. So, these actions make clear that while some may claim this is excessive, schools are able to send people home for uniform violation, provided that the disciplinary action of sending a child home is in line with their behaviour policy. While schools have therefore been able to send kids home for uniform violations, they won't be allowed to send children home for not wearing masks when they return to school in the coming weeks. While children will be advised to wear masks, schools have been told that they should not be denied education for failing to wear one. While there will likely be strong opinions both for and against this, it's hard to deny that this breaks with the rather strict punishments that can be levied for other uniform violations. Ultimately, this isn't even just a UK or a school issue. Should schools, workplaces, and wherever else be able to deny you access for failing to wear a mask? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And finally, you might remember yesterday, we happily shared a story with you about the Dutch state broadcaster who had included a clip from one of our videos in their broadcast. Anyway, we shared a clip of that broadcast in yesterday's Daily Briefing. Bear in mind, the clip that we used was about 75% our content that they broadcast, and about 25% their host introducing the clip. Anyway, yesterday evening, after the briefing went live, I noticed that I had an email from YouTube saying that the video had been copyright struck. The news channel had claimed our video, saying that we'd stolen their content by putting the clip of their news broadcast in our video. Now, we can debate the semantics of fair use, but about 75% of that clip was our own video. And make no mistake, their claim includes the section of the video which is our animation, content that they're saying is theirs. Why is it theirs? Well, because they broadcast it on national TV, so it must belong to them, right? Well, wrong. And here's the most juicy part. We never even gave them permission to put it on TV. And in fact, I don't even have any record of them asking for permission. So they're copyright claiming our YouTube video because it contains a section of our own animation that they've broadcast without our permission. Now, I'm not angry with them for using the clip. It was kind of cool that it was on TV, even if I'd rather have given them sign off to do so. And I'm also not that angry about the copyright claim. Ironically, the video had already been demonetized because of another story in yesterday's briefing, so ultimately they're claiming a video with zero ad revenue. But I'm bringing this up because it really shows how broken YouTube's copyright system really is. That this likely automatic claim flagged our video despite the fact that they themselves had stole the content, broadcasting it without permission. Anyway, this was all such an absurd story that I couldn't resist informing you about it, and don't worry, we've disputed the claim. They can keep their $0, but I need the moral victory. Of course, I'll keep you updated on this as it plays out, so be sure to subscribe and keep watching the Daily Briefing. For those of you who think the news is too long, be sure to check out tomorrow's Daily Briefing. Read the newsletter by signing up at tldrnews.co.uk/daily. Listen to the briefing by searching for TLDR News in your podcast app, or watch the briefing over at youtube.com/TLDR Daily.